Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. Here with me today, I have a great friend and a diamond in the rough that I want you guys to meet. This here is Inumidun Ayo-Durojaiye. He is a linebacker out of Yale. Nice to meet you. Well, nice to see you, bro, because I see you fairly often. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Inumidun Ayo-Durojaiye. I'm a linebacker from Yale. I'm from Maryland, and I'm a fifth-year senior. And I'm excited to continue on this season, keep getting better, and you know, through my own success and team success, I have a shot at the NFL.
Cool, man. And for people that may not know, dude, you and I, we've known each other for a good long while. It's been a pleasure watching you grow up over the years, and now I'm looking at you as an adult making adult decisions, and doing a fantastic job for Yale's defense. I know fairly recently you were named Ivy League Defensive Player of the Week. We'll get a chance to talk about that. But before we get there, I kind of want to talk about the early days of you because I know you started things out there in Damascus. But what's some of your earliest memories of playing football?
Wow, my earliest memories playing football. I remember at first, watching Ray Lewis growing up in Maryland. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, them playing with that kind of intensity and tenacity, and just the opportunity to ask my parents, beg my parents, please, can we play? It's so dangerous, but like, can we play? And finally, in fourth grade, they allowed us to play. So my memories were very fond. I was playing offensive lineman until high school, until sophomore year of high school. Yeah, I didn't get it really either, but I was having so much fun, offensive line, defensive line, and then eventually playing linebacker and safety. So some of my earliest memories are just, the conditioning, because when you're not playing organized sports, of course you're playing outside having fun, but then having to run sprints and things like that that were hard um, for me at the time. But I really enjoyed it. It's always been so much fun, and that's something I always try to keep with it now too, as it becomes more serious to always find the joy in the game.
Well, attended Damascus High School in Damascus, Maryland. For people that may not know, really one of the more prolific public schools that you can see some of the best football at, and a part of that team. So, go ahead and talk a little bit about your days in high school. I also know you did a little bit of track too. So, any memories you want to share from those days?
Absolutely. I mean, my high school days, kind of as you mentioned, it really started beforehand, just with Damascus, being in elementary school, middle school, and going to the games and looking up to all those guys that were playing, winning state championships. That was kind of the standard, the expectation. Is like I can't wait to grow up and be like those guys. So then getting there, playing with amazing players like Brian Brzee, who's in the NFL now. When I was a freshman, Michael Jurgens, who also went to the NFL, and countless other players who played college as well. It was definitely very inspirational for me. Definitely very exciting to do that. And then obviously I was lucky enough to be able to be on the state championship team myself. Track was great as well. I think it was one of the most intense sports. Just kind of like wrestling at Damascus was a very serious sport. The training for track was very difficult. I was running the 400, so some of the repeat fives or sixes or eights at practice would be very intense. But I benefited from it so much because one of my favorite parts about track is that like you can never, except for one person, you can't really be the fastest. So you can't really feel yourself because you think you're fast, and then you go to a meet with 30 other schools, and then you get humbled. So it's one of those things where as you compete against others, you compete against yourself. So I really benefited from that, the team atmosphere, the individual aspects of it as well. So I really enjoyed track, running, relays, jumping. I definitely benefited from it in so many ways.
Well, Numi, want to chit chat with you a little bit about your relationship with your brother, who also had a very good career there at Damascus, ended up going to Villanova to play. Um, Anything that you can share with regards to maybe, I don't know, some competitive nature or some influence that perhaps he had on you in your journey?
Absolutely. Like we were always going back and forth. Um, you know, Whether it's still to this day, if I text him and say, we're playing basketball, he's like, you're not better than me, you're not beating me. When's the last time you beat me? get the tripod out at the park and record each other playing one-on-one, bragging rights, anything. There'd be nothing that we wouldn't compete at. I remember one memory that stands out is every time we would go to Golden Corral, we would have like a point system for how many plates you can eat. So everything was a competition. But ultimately, I do look up to him. And, for me, one thing that stands out for him is his work ethic. He works the hardest at everything. His special teams play at Villanova, even though, he was a featured back. He was exceptional on kickoff, kick return, punt coverage. I believe he was, all conference for that and had double-digit tackles as a running back, which is like exceptional. So he's definitely an inspiration for me, a role model for me, but also like I can't let him beat me at anything for sure.
I get you. Numi, you're a different position, a different type of athlete, even than your brother. I mean, again, kind of interesting. Him being a running back, you being a defensive back slash linebacker, offering a little bit of a different perspective. As an athlete, and of course, attending an Ivy League school in Yale. So I remember way back in the day, man, sitting there watching you off to the side, other people at church, they're off having fun, and you're sitting here in your calculus textbook trying to prepare for whatever you're doing. But obviously, positioned yourself so that you can get an Ivy League education. How did you end up at Yale? Ultimately, talk about the recruiting and how you ended up there.
Definitely. So after our state championship season in 2019, I feel like I played well, but I felt there was more production to be had, particularly because I wasn't a starter on offense. So I really wanted to, work on my skills at receiver and returner that upcoming year, which ultimately never came to fruition because of COVID in 2020. So that was very challenging. Going into spring break, think you're coming back to school. College coaches are starting to come for some people in my class. Junior year, as you know, usually is when it kicks off, and for there to be a shutdown and no camps, other places where I thought I could be able to show my talents. But ultimately, I remember one day, Twitter, one of the coaches from Davidson, called me and gave me my first offer. I remember it very vividly. I was outside. It was a sunny day, and I was so excited because it was just feeling like I had arrived, feeling validated that I really can do this. Like this is something that's possible. Then after that, maybe like 12 other schools, 13 other schools followed suit, mostly the academies, other Ivy League schools, Georgetown, Long Island, Morgan State, those schools were the main ones. Deciding on Yale for me, really it came down to probably going to Navy, um, Yale, and between the Ivy Leagues, I know Yale just has a great brand of being a winner. The name carries weight after life after football. So
Of
for me, that
course.
was a big choice. And then for me, just in terms of being able to focus on if my ambition is football, and then if something happens, I'll be just fine with the Yale degree. For me, I want to be able to focus on that rather than have the additional burden of being an officer. So for me, Yale was just a great fit. Unfortunately, no official visits or anything because of COVID, so it was kind of going out on a limb. But I try to do as much research.
Yeah, so I mean, as you mentioned, if you can get the education from Yale, that's always like, just awesome thing that you can bring, take with you like wherever you go, like from here on out, of course. And then as you also mentioned, the program is historic. Whenever people think of football in general, it does go back to the roots there at Yale. Once upon a time. So I also understand that you took I guess, a little bit of I don't know how you want to say it, time off or something, like in order to secure your eligibility. You had a cup of coffee with Monmouth over the spring. Talk about it for just a second.
Yeah, ultimately, I did. I worked very, very hard, taking credit overloads to try to graduate in December, and I ultimately got enough credits to do so in December 2024. But for me, I was kind of satisfied with my time at Yale. I wanted to enter the portal to be able to play maybe for a bigger program, and some of the other advantages that may come from not being at a scholarship school. Um, Ultimately, I didn't really receive that much interest in the portal. It was mostly, I believe, Monmouth, Maine, Robert Morris, Marist, and I think Central Connecticut State. So there was no program that kind of really stood out, whether it's like G5 or, some of the higher caliber, Big Sky, kind of FCS conferences that came, Missouri Valley kind of teams that came up. So for me, I went to Monmouth, and when I was there, enrolled in the spring, I was part of the team. I was working out, and it just wasn't a fit for me. So I was able to get my eighth semester per like Ivy League rules. Since I wasn't enrolled in the spring, it was really just essentially taking a semester off to come back and have my fifth year, eighth semester at Yale as an undergraduate.
Gotcha. Just wanted to cover that for people that might be wondering about like how is this guy able to come back, and that's obviously the reason how that happened. So um, anyhow, Yale obviously welcomed you back with open arms. Like you were very impactful in 2024. And so far this season, also very impactful as well. Got a lot of great things going on. Want to talk about your role on defense. Obviously, I introduced you as a linebacker, but I don't know if that truly defines you as a player. So, talk about your role on Yale's defense and what you're doing in that defense overall. So, have at it.
Absolutely. I feel like on our defense, we have so many versatile players. Defensive ends that can play defensive tackle, guys who can, cover, play defensive back, play at the second level, like you've probably heard of Abu Kamara, one of our all Americans. So just having those kind of multiple players, and that's the kind of vein I see myself in as someone that on third down, the coaches can say, go guard the receiver. And then on second down and first down, play the A gap. Those kind of things are where I see it. So for my role on the defense, I think primarily is with my age is definitely to be a leader, to be an experienced player who's been around the team for 5 years, to know the expectation of the way we play, the standard we play, to be a primary communicator now with the coach to player communication, get everybody lined up since I'm in the middle, and make sure the communication between first, second, third level is there, and then to play the standard. I want to play it a way that if everyone's playing as hard as me, or if everybody's playing as tenacious as me, or with as much effort as me, that we'll be good. So I want to be someone that's pulling the standard of what we do up rather than being a middle of the pack guy or pulling us down, or somebody that has to ask like, oh, on that play you didn't give it your all, or just picking and choosing. So for me, I think that's my role on the team, is to impact in multiple ways, because we have versatile players. Whatever coach asks me to do is whatever I have to be good at.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed, the position in which you play is kind of a little bit of a will, maybe like a box safety sort of hybrid sort of player. And so some people, as they're looking at you as a player at the next level, maybe perhaps at box safety, maybe a nickel linebacker, but somewhere in the middle, of course. I also wanted to note that your team adjusted your size somewhat over this past season to 215 pounds. Can you confirm?
Yes, that's correct. I am about 215 pounds,
So
give or
about
take.
6 foot, 215 pounds, can really manage things well there, kind of like uh, towards the line of scrimmage. When we look at you as an athlete, what are your better attributes as a player? I mean, because we've talked about the versatility, but what more do you bring to the table that perhaps some other people don't?
I mean, I think I bring like a high level of FBI, football intelligence, football IQ. It's real nice, when things are on the whiteboard, when they're drawn up in scheme of, okay, this is how this is going to play out, but it doesn't happen like that in the game. So for me, I think that I just have those kind of natural instincts and intelligence to make things right in front of me or behind me based on how things happen. I also think that, I can bring a lot of value on special teams. That's something that I pride myself on, being able to impact on defense, whether that's, on special teams, getting points for our team, or taking points off for the other team, or winning the field position battle, or having a chance to make a tackle, or, getting blocks, whatever it takes. I mean, those are all ways that I feel like I can really impact the game different from others. And then also I feel like my speed kind of sets me apart. as you said, like I'm kind of really in between positions, but I do feel like I can run things down, pretty
Yeah,
well.
I had in my notes special teams, special teams, special teams, a special teams ace that can really be a huge factor on all units, really, and can contribute day one, for any professional team at the special teams level. So, always running to the ball brings a lot of passion, energy, of course. Of course, you do have a lot of great moments on special teams, but bro, let's talk about some of the highlights that you have had over the years. Again, we're looking at a guy who's been part of two Ivy League championships. I think one of them was like shared, but let's just say two Ivy League championships. But last year you had some good moments. 2024, you guys ended up with a 7-3 record. Had a solid outing against Brown where you had a total of 12 tackles, which is great. And then I think it was the Princeton game last year, which everyone is like, OMG, this guy is making plays all over the field. I think you had interception, fumble, forced fumble, a lot of great things happening for you. Named, defensive player of the week for the Ivy League. Talk about that matchup.
Wow, that matchup is first, just before I zoom in, big picture, just a historic rivalry. You always want to be, when I talk to some of the alumni of the program, they always want to be the big three champs. Beating Harvard and Yale, or sorry, Harvard and Princeton is some of the things that is very important historically. So for me, going into that game, like you said, we were 7-3. We had already dropped 3 games at that point, so we would have been 5-3 going into that game. And for us, it was our last home game. Last home game as seniors, very big senior class, senior night, senior day. So, we knew that Princeton was not their best that year, but that doesn't matter. When it comes to league play, that they're going to give you their best shot. And it was a close game, but I think I had opportunities to get the ball out. So, the pair of sacks that I had, the interception, forced fumble, the tackles, some breakups. I just felt like I was playing fast, playing free, that I trusted the game plan and just when the opportunities were there, I tried to get them as best as I could. So I was very kind of proud of myself for that performance.
I want you to chat just briefly about the interception in the fourth quarter. Kind of sealed the victory there for that for your team. So, can you remember like some specifics of that moment overall? Like, talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that it was in our end zone going towards the scoreboard. I can't remember the down. It was probably third, but I know there was 2-by-2 formation, and their quarterback was mobile. So I was in cover two. I was the middle runner, and I wanted to kind of be able to split both uprights to play both, kind of insulate both sides of the field. And I kind of got vision on the number two receiver. I believe it was number 86, Barber's son. I believe Tiki Barber's son. And once the quarterback broke scramble, I knew I just had to get my head around it and find the guy. And luckily, he was on the back line, so I ran. Man turned, got my hands on him, got him out of bounds. And then when I looked back, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, is he throwing the ball here? So I got my feet back in, and I reached out and made sure to tap it, secure the ball, and put it away. And it was great. So I'm glad that we got the
Yeah, I mean,
play and
I just remember it happening, just being I don't know, just so excited, so proud of that moment. And again, so many great things happening for you at that particular time. Maybe perhaps laying it all on the line because I mean, I remember talking to you, man. Future was uncertain, didn't know what you were going to do, like if you're going to pursue pros or transfer or whatever. But ended up finishing that season very solid. Walking away with your head held high and able to take some of that and fuel to fuel this season and using that momentum carrying over into this year. A couple weeks ago, man, you had a great outing against Cornell. You were the defensive player of the week for the Ivy League. Go ahead and talk about that matchup, man, since it's so fresh.
yeah, I think Cornell was a game that they were multiple. We didn't know which quarterback they were going to roll with in the game. They ended up playing both. and they had some playmakers on the outside. But one of the key things about their offense is they have so many different concepts. Like they had midline read, reading the defensive lineman. They had jet, the sideline. They had all sorts of switches down the field, all sorts of different pass concepts. So we wanted to make sure that we were sound. But for me, I just felt like I was playing fast. Every run to the perimeter, I wanted to run it down. Every run to the sideline, I wanted to run it down. In coverage, whatever I could do to impact. So I didn't know until after the game. They were like, "Oh, you know how many you had?" I was just like, "I hope I had 10." Because I just that's the goal. You want to get 10 every game. You're playing inside linebacker. You want to make your presence felt in the game. But when they said 17, I was like, "Wow, like, that's crazy." But I just really were having fun out there with my teammates, and we made a lot of great plays as a group. I mean, I believe we had 5 turnovers forced. We had a blocked punt and a blocked field goal. So that kind of thing, gives you opportunity to win
I mean, it
games.
just seems like you guys like were able to hit on everything that you guys went out there to do. Went out there and really dominated. A career high of 17 tackles. So, I mean, here's hoping at some point you might even best that as this season unfolds. Also, this season, Ivy League playoffs, maybe. It's kind of exciting having that option. I tell a lot of people about the Ivy League. Just do not sleep on the Ivy League. They've got a lot of great talent. You talked about a guy on the back end there in Kamara, but I mean I know there's a lot of great talent around you. Talk up some of your teammates if you don't mind, and maybe perhaps how you guys might reach that playoff scene.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many great players on the team. As you said, the line between FCS and FBS ball is really, starting to decrease. You can see a lot of the FCS teams beating the FBS teams, and even among, G5 and Power 5 teams, there's a lot of parity. I think the Ivy League is a brand that hasn't had the chance to get the national exposure, like you said, because of the playoff situation. But on my team, there's so many greats. I mean, Josh Pitzenberger, he's definitely one of the best running backs in the country. Downhill guy, physical guy. I believe he had 6 touchdowns in the first 2 games and running well over 100 yards each. A running back, Mikey Bennett on the offensive tackle, another guy who was, I believe, was a preseason All-American. Very fast in space, strong with his hands, good on his run blocking and in pass setting as well. And then on the defense, Osize, Danian, who's a very great defensive back, Joshua Tarver, who's a natural ball hawk and has been great for us as a returner this year, as well as, Abu Kamar and a lot of the guys we have on the defensive line. We play so many guys because we're so deep and, experienced on both fronts. So there's a lot of talented guys. Nico Brown at receiver, who's been exceptional for us. I believe he already has 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards in 2 games. So there's so much talent on our team and the other teams in the league. I believe Dartmouth beat New Hampshire already, and Brown beat top 10 Rhode Island. So there's a lot of talent in the league, and it's great that it's going to get more exposure now.
I think there's a lot of I don't know, there's a lot of competition overall, especially when an Ivy League team wants to go out there and, kind of prove everybody wrong. I mean, you guys do have lots of great talent. You kind of went through the full gambit of guys there, and there seems to always be an offensive lineman coming out of Yale that does great things. And then, as you had mentioned, a lot of great players on offense and defense to look forward to this season. So, uh, Numi, want to take a little bit of time to, I don't know, share anything else about you that you want people to know? Any interesting fun facts? Again, I may know them, but maybe perhaps not other people do. But talk a little bit about yourself, whether it be your hobbies, any special interests, or hidden talents or something. Go ahead and talk for a minute.
For me, definitely, I enjoy my free time kind of winding down outside of football. So that's whether that's watching television or something like that, YouTube. Nothing crazy. Not really big on social media, but just kind of being entertained in those ways, different ways other than consuming sports. I really love playing basketball. That's definitely gotten away from that now because of risk of injury and the running up and down outside of football context is not ideal. And I really like cooking and travel. So those are things that interest me. Trying to find new recipes online, even though I may not have the time to execute them, but try to keep a notes app going of the things that I liked or want to get into when I have the chance to. So those are things that I definitely want. I definitely have interest
You have you gathered any recipes from either your parents or grandparents?
I have, but the main thing though, when it comes to that, it's more of a, you see it and then you do it with them and then you reduplicate it versus like written, 3 cups of this, 2 cups of that.
Okay, just wanted to double check and see where you're at with all the cooking stuff. So, a couple fun little questions before we wrap up. So, do just play along a little bit as I kind of ask you a couple of little silly ones. So, are you a morning or a night guy?
Morning all the way.
All the way. Okay. Um, is there maybe perhaps a superpower that you would love to have, whether it be super speed, flight, invisibility, ability to read minds? Like, what is that for you?
I think I have to go with flight. Just too convenient.
Absolutely. Who wants to be in traffic, right? Um, cool. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
He's like, not at all. Cool. If it's karaoke night, what is Inumidun singing, man? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. You're singing either in front of your family or from in front of your teammates. What's that one song that you know you're gonna nail?
Um, probably some Michael Jackson. Baby Be Mine, probably.
All right, that works. I can certainly appreciate that. So, who do you think is doing it at the elite level right now in the NFL? Like I remember you talking earlier about some of your earlier influences there who were the Ravens of old. But who are you really paying attention to now at the next level? Like who are you studying or just a fan of in general?
I really like Luca. Obviously, he's a Yale guy, so it's biased, but just his ability to stop the run. I believe he's been one of the leading tacklers in the NFL the past however many years he's been in there, and he makes plays on the ball, um, interceptions, forced fumbles. So for me, just trying to figure out ways that I can emulate some of that stuff and get the ball.
Cool. Hopefully here one of these days, I mean, you might find yourself at that level playing alongside some of these guys, but before we get there, got almost a full season's worth of games ahead of you. Go ahead and close us with any final thoughts. What Yale's going to bring to the table this year, and any thoughts, comments you have about some scouts who may doubt you and your ability. What kind of athlete would they be getting? So, go ahead and close us out.
Absolutely. For my team as a whole, what you're going to get from Yale is a better product every week. We really pride ourselves on YVY 1, 2, 3 through 10. And if we do what we're supposed to do, then there'll be more opportunities for us in 10 games. But for right now, our best focus is on being the best team we can be for this Saturday, not because of our opponent, but because we have to be the next best version of ourselves. So for Yale, what you can expect is a physical brand of team, a team that plays together, a team that plays fast, and a team that strikes first and strikes last. For me, what I would tell any scouts is I can imagine, the two huge knocks would be level of competition and size questions. For the level of competition, there's nothing I can do about that. Other than the thing I can say is to roll the tape and to see if you believe or not. If you believe like this can translate, can he get off blocks? Can he tackle? Can he cover? Um, that's up for them to decide if they believe in that or not. And for the second part about the size, if it means gaining weight for a team that believes in me, I'm never against that. I can easily, with a pro day training, get to 225 pounds and be a natural inside linebacker, or kind of be where I'm at 215 or even 210 if it's more of a box safety role. So for me, I think those aren't really like knocks. So for me, what I would tell those teams is, if you believe in it, see the vision. I'm a football player at the end of the day. I don't play a position. So wherever I'm needed, whatever I need to do to be ready to play that position, I'm willing to do that. So that's what they'll get from me.
Certainly very impactful guy, whether it be on defense or special teams, and versatility is a little bit of everything, of course, bringing to the table and doing well for Yale right now. But buddy, just want to wish you guys all the best this season and hope to see you soon. All right.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Once again, I got Inumidun Ayo-Durojaiye, linebacker, safety, whatever way you want to call him. He's an athlete for Yale University. Check him out this season.